No, I think if you probably talk to the Buckeyes, they're focusing on them. That's what this month of September is all about. When you don't have a preseason, when you don't have scrimmages, you got to utilize the opportunities that you have, those non-league games, to find out who you are and make those improvements. And they say the biggest improvement you should make as a team is from week 1 to week 2, because now we're able to go live for 4 quarters and be able to go sit down and watch film and see what areas we need to improve upon. And we say that, and I hope our kids buy into that. So this week's no different. We got to look at what we did not so good on Saturday, look at what we did, and find a way to execute come Saturday at noon.
Where do you want to see the biggest jumps at?
Probably just in the execution. The execution. We always talk about, practice execution becomes game reality. Well, I need to see that carry over now into a game. You put a plan to win together each and every week, no matter who you're playing. It doesn't change. Tuesday practice don't change. A Wednesday practice don't change. Creating a plan that what it's going to take to be successful week in and week out. Probably the discipline. We need to take a huge jump, because I told you Thursday night, I think that was selfish, and we need to see improvement in those areas and hold each other accountable. Need to see the fundamentals, need to see the physicality, need to see the focus over the entire course of a football game. But the one thing that you love early is finding out, and I said it in the presser last week before the game, this gives opportunity to see how your kids handle adversity too. That second quarter didn't go as planned, but to see how our young men reacted coming out in the second half. And, there's growth there. And our job is to make sure by the time we get into league play, we play in probably the best FCS conference in the country, that we need to, if we make those mistakes in league play, it's going to come back to haunt you. Yeah, number one for our kids. I thank Ohio State for giving it's bigger than us, but giving not only our players, our program, our university, the fans at our Youngstown State, Ohio, the opportunity to put our players to experience what they're going to experience on Saturday. And, to go play the best, I tell you, we play the best in FCS. Now we get to go play the best in the FBS, and it's football, and we got to go in with a plan to win and find out how we execute and evaluate how we do going against that type of program.
What have you seen from them on tape that stands out to you?
I mean, they're defensively they're all over the place, physical. I mean, they got the best players in the country. That's a fact. Probably they got to hear the days. Why didn't you score 50? Why didn't you go score 60? How many home openers have they lost in the last 43 years? Well, I can remember the 2014 to Virginia Tech, where a redshirt freshman, J.T. Barrett, they had a young offensive line. Well, what did they do in that year? You guys recall? Exactly. So, they got the great players. They're finding out about their kids. They're finding out about a couple new guys. Their offensive tackles, I think, gave up 0 sacks in the NFL preseason. So they got new tackles. Guess what? They're going to be good. They're going to make a big jump from week 1 to week 2. And, they want to get to the national championship at the FBS level. And, we're trying to climb the same thing in our FCS. So, for us to go play the competition, we're never going to back down from it. I think it's a great opportunity for our players, for our fans, and it's a great opportunity to be able to put yourselves against such a program. So, our kids, I know they'll be excited.
Obviously, a veteran group here that's been on stage. A lot of these guys have been on big stages like this in years past. When we talked to Tyshawn, he said, when we watch film, they're not perfect. They make mistakes. Is that the mentality you want your guys? Because now you've got film to look on somebody. They're not oohing and ahhing over size and speed. They're looking for mistakes and ways in.
Yeah, and I think that comes every week. People probably think, oh, you're doing something different because of who you're playing. We don't. We have the same meetings. We have the same preparation. We do the same, game breakdowns, finding what can we do? What can we do offensively? What can we do defensively? What we can do on special teams, regardless if it's Valpo to Ohio State to Robert Morris to Northern Iowa. And I think our kids, and I was proud that I'd even hear about this game going into the Valpo game, which tells me a little bit about the maturity and of our team, that we're focused on. Today was a Tuesday practice. Did we have a great practice? Go in and watch the film, and we got to come back out and have a great Wednesday practice. And, we get to see the plan that we put together against the best in the country, against one of the best defenses in the country, best offenses in the country, best wide receivers in the country, and see how we fare.
What do things stand with Dre?
Right now, he practiced today, and we're going to take that day by day. For me, sometimes we got to make grown-up decisions. I want to take care of our kids. I want them healthy. The mindset to go play a football game, you better be at 100%. And so for us to go through film today, see how he feels, go through tomorrow, and I'm sure when we get to Saturday, we'll make a decision on it.
Do you expect him to play Saturday, though?
I always expect, you never go in a week not expecting to play. You go in the week, expect to play, and guess what? If we feel on Saturday right before kickoff, just don't see it, those will be decisions, that we make. But last week he wanted to play, was ready to play. But again, sometimes we got to make decisions for our young men that not only benefit them, but benefit our team too.
Any other noticeable injuries?
No, we came out, from game one, pretty healthy. So.
Aside from the game, getting this national exposure that you're going to get, how does it help, the program, future recruits? Do you talk to them and that, hey, we're playing Ohio State, we're on national television, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we do. I think they look at your schedule, and we played Kentucky last year, played Michigan State, and in the future, whether it's Pitt, whether it's Maryland. The difference here is, we got 79 players from the state of Ohio on our roster. It's a pretty big deal. They probably grew up, if not a fan, wanting to play there, wanting to be a Buckeye. So this one's just a little bit different just for, that. But, going down to Kentucky last year in the SEC, for us too, we carry the flag. The state of Ohio, I don't really know if they know the Missouri Valley Football Conference. They know Mid-American Conference. So for us to wave that flag that we play in the best FCS conference in the country, that every year, first, second, third round picks are coming from teams in the Missouri Valley Football Conference into the NFL. Nobody knows that. They know Mid-American Conference. And, so for us, to be able to have games like this where not only are you representing your university, your city, the area, but you're also representing the league that you play in. And we're proud of the league we play in. And each year those teams are winning national titles. And that's what, that's why we come to work every day, to build that program.
Sean was talking about his transition here. Just where have you seen the biggest jumps from him, and what does continued success look like for him?
For him, we knew what he could do. He had enough film against very good competition. The GLIAC, Division II. Well, guess what? They got good football players in the GLIAC. You go watch Ferris State. You go watch Grand Valley. Again, they got guys in the NFL. So we knew he was playing against good competition. We knew that he would have a good fit when he came in, and we had to beat some guys on him now. I mean, it just wasn't, we had to go beat, some FBS for him. We had to beat some teams in our league for him, and we felt good when he came on a visit, being from Chicago and, Midwest, that he'd fit in well with our players. And, for us, getting an older guy in that room besides Dre is what we needed. And I think he's been a big help to those young guys, to Cephas Harris and Deshaun Watley, and, so for us, the transition was pretty smooth.
Coach, Shedeur Sanders was asked after their upset win over TCU in his first FBS game, the difference between FCS and FBS. And he flat out said, not much, except for the defensive linemen get to the quarterback a lot quicker when I start to scramble.
Yeah.
Is there truth to that?
Yeah, the speed of it, but I'm sure we got a lot of guys on our roster that could go play FBS. Knock on wood. They're with the Penguins, but when you do, you got to adjust to that speed. Yeah, those defensive linemen now, they're first round, second round, third round picks in the NFL, and they got maybe a little more length. Maybe they have a few more inches, maybe quicker twitch. There's a reason they probably had 4-star, 5 stars coming out of, high school. Our kids, some of them, most of them, were developmental. So maybe they were 6'5", 6'6", 215 pounds coming out of high school, where if you're not 270, 290, you're not getting recruited. Now those kids might be 300, 305, and we're able to develop them in the weight room. And that's why every year, to see a Mike McAllister who's with the Rams on their practice squad, he was a walk-on for us and developed into a player that, can make a roster in the NFL. And that's not an easy task. So, they just got a lot more of them. And, in a game like that, the first quarter, you got to adjust to that speed and go play football.
Doug, is that the biggest, I don't want to say challenge, but the biggest thing, the adjustment of, the speed? And in the first quarter, is that first quarter probably the most critical quarter?
Yeah, you got to go in, home game, excitement, and just staying focused and doing your job, I think, is always key and critical. And you watch the start of their games. But, for us, it's like any game. Our scout team can't give the look Ohio State's going to give. Nothing against our scout team. So it's going to take that first couple series. You better adjust quick. You better adjust quick if you're a defensive back and you got to guard Harrison, or, you're up front, or you're the left tackle and, you got those guys coming off the edge on pass rush. So, yeah, you got to make those adjustments quickly, or it could be a long day.
How about for you? Is this a special game for you, knowing that you go back to Ohio State, where you started your college coaching career, and you maybe see some of the same hallways, the same locker rooms you spent some time in?
Yeah, I try to say it's not about me. It's about our kids and our program. But, to know it started with Coach Tressel, here, and then the opportunity to go there. And I had great relationships and built strong relationships with Luke Fickell by going there and working with Jim Haycock and, those things. Yeah. And, but that won't be on my mind as we go. We went back there at Cincinnati when we were there, and, this is about our kids and getting them prepared and getting them ready to play on that type of stage.